Hey, my name is Gautam and I'm an Unreal artist, and today I'm going to show you about setting up some basic lights inside Unreal Engine 5. Today we are going to learn about all the lights available inside Unreal Engine 5, and this is going to be a beginner's tutorial, so we're going to be only focusing on dynamic lighting and not the bake lighting. So let's just get started. I have two mannings here and a few objects here, and as you can see I already have a few lighting inside the lighting folder. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all of them. I'm also gonna delete the player start. We don't need that. As you can see, there is some kind of a illumination going on here, which is nothing but from the emissive material that the Manny is using. At times you can also use an emissive material to light up the scene, but today we are just going to focus on using the basic lights available inside the Unreal Engine 5. This is more to do with the material, so yeah. So as you can see, the whole scene is dark, except for that, but if you don't see this layout, this is an old classic UV4 layout. To access this, you can just go to Windows and just go to Load Layout and choose Unreal Engine 4 Classic Layout. I just find this handy, that's why. And if you go to the Lighting tab, you can see all the lightings available inside Unreal Engine 5. There is one more lighting which you can access if you wish to, which is the HDRI lighting. I will show you how to use the HDRI and how you can use an HDRI to set up a basic lighting setup, and then take forward from there and add your own lights and make the scene more realistic. But not in this tutorial. This is just gonna be about the basic lights. So to begin with, let's just drag and drop the light, the directional light. A directional light basically works like the sunlight or a moonlight or any kind of a light that has a direct source. This is also useful in photography. We also call that as a key light, so this could be also used as a key light. As you can see, we already have some bounce lighting going on. This is because thanks to Lumen, which is inside Unreal Engine 5, which has this global illumination, and that's the reason why we have this bounce lighting. To see that, we can go to Settings, go to Project Settings, and then if you type Lumen here, Lumen, as you can see, our dynamic global illumination method is set to Lumen. You can force Lumen as well in the post-process volume, which I'll show you later, but by default it is set to Lumen. As you can see, you can rotate the light left and right the way you want, and under the details panel you can also see you can change the intensity of the light. You can also change the color of the light. You can also change the source angle. You can also use the temperature if you want to have that sunny kind of temperature look. Sunny environment look. This casts sharp shadows, as you would expect that to happen when you're out in a sunny day. So let's just go ahead and delete this light and drag and drop a point light in our scene. As the name says, a point light is basically, it's emitting the light from a point, and you're able to see the dynamic shadows as I move the light around. This is also because if you go under the General tab and if you scroll all the way up, you would see that the light is set to stationary. So there are basically two types of lighting setup. One is the bake lighting that I spoke about, and the second one is dynamic. So any light that is set to movable, you would have those dynamic shadows everywhere. The moment you set the light or any light to static, you would see this kind of a, not an error, but a kind of a warning that it says you need to bake the light. So when you bake a light, the shadows are not dynamic anymore. So we are not going to go in detail about that, but yeah, for now, let's just leave the light to movable. And as you can see, as I showed you in the direct lighting, it has the same number of options. Like you can change the intensity, you can also change the source light, you can also choose a soft radius. I'll show you why this is very useful. But for now, we just go with the basic properties of the light. You can also change the attenuation radius, which is also known as the fall off. As you can see here, if I reduce the attenuation radius, the fall off is less, and if I increase it, the fall off is gonna be more. There you go. Let's go ahead, delete this light, and let's just add a spotlight. A spotlight is nothing but a light emitting from a spot in a shape of a cone. You can change the shape of the cone depending upon your wish. So you can go ahead and change the inner cone. You can change the outer cone, which is also the attenuation, works as an attenuation radius. And spreads the light farther than you wish, than you want to. Like that. I'll just go ahead and delete the light. One of my favorites is the rectangular light, or I would also would love to call it as a soft light. The reason behind that is in photography we use this light a lot of time to have this kind of a sharp, soft shadows. As compared to all the other lights, this light has much more softer shadows. I can increase the attenuation, and you can see it has a nice, softer shadow. You can also increase the width, source width, and also the height to have more expand the source to have more softer shadow. This is the best to light up any indoor lighting. Let's just go ahead and delete the light for now. Skylight is altogether a different topic because it is more to do with environment setup, which I will cover in some other tutorial. But for now, these are all the basic lighting you need to know about inside Unreal. You can achieve. Now let's go back and talk about the softer shadows. Like you see in the rectangular light, we had those softer shadows. You can also achieve the same softer shadows inside a point light. All you need to do is, if you increase the source source radius, you can achieve similar soft shadows as you would have inside inside the rectangular light. You can increase the source, you can reduce it. There you go. So even on your model, you can see that your lighting is much more softer than it was before. So if I reduce this, you would have more sharper shadows. So based on knowledge from the past tutorial, let's just start lighting this scene. As you can see, my scene is completely dark, but I do have few static meshes inside this scene, and you would be able to see that very shortly. So to start any scene, this is what I usually use, and even as beginner, and even when I start to light up any environments, this is what I do. Is I go to Window and I click on ENV Light Mixer, which is super handy when it comes to lighting any environment. Doesn't matter if it's interior or exterior. It has a couple of lighting options. Basically, these are the same options that you can find under the lights and under visual effects. So to begin with, let's just add a skylight. Skylight would be basically helpful for lighting any indirect lighting, but as you can see, as soon as I place the skylight, it pops up with an error saying that you need a sky atmosphere. a volumetric cloud component in order to work with the skylight. So I'm going to go ahead and add the sky atmosphere and also add the volumetric cloud. But we do not have we don't have a directional light inside the scene. So to access that, just click on the atmospheric light, which is also known as the directional light. Now we can see clearly inside the scene. We have this interior scene. As I spoke before in the past tutorial, because of the global illumination, a few of the parts are getting some indirect light bounces, like as you can see here, and even in some corners there. But this is not what we want. We want this interior to be bright enough depending upon what kind of lighting we have outside. So to do that, I'm going to select my directional light and press Ctrl L on my keyboard and get access to this small gizmo of light. Please note that I'm still holding the control button and accessing the direction of the sunlight I want. So I think somewhere there should be good enough. We have a nice sunlight popping inside the window, and we also have the global illumination working very well for us. But still, there are a few indirect lighting, as you can see, which is still a bit noisy, and we'll take care of that very soon. As compared to outside, we have a sun facing towards the window that, like I said, you can still toggle using by pressing E on your keyboard. So the only part that we are missing is the volumetric fog. So let's just go ahead and add the volumetric height fog here. There you go. So now we have every component that we need to glorify the scene. This is a very simple setup, so I'm gonna go ahead and place a camera because that helps me lighting every time. To add a camera, you just go to quickly add button, or you can also go to where is it? Yeah, cinematic, and then drag and drop the cine camera actor in your scene. As you can see, you will see a small window that shows what the camera is viewing currently. So either you can navigate by using the gizmo, or what I find it better is piloting the camera itself. To do that, you just go to perspective and click on the camera that you have selected, and now you can see the small highlighted camera which says that you are inside the pilot view. So I'm gonna have my camera somewhere here like that, and we can also change the focal length. We can also change the film back, which is I usually leave it to digital zoom, but I'm gonna definitely change the lens type to a 30 mm because it gives me a wide, nice angle to look at. Somewhere I also turn on the grid at times to help me frame. So to access that grid, you can click on, oops, not that one, my bad, this one. You need to go under cinematic view first, and then select your camera again, and then click on this button, and then turn on the 3x3 grid. So this helps me to use a 3x3 grid and frame my shot very well. So I think somewhere there should be decent enough. I'm gonna go back to my default view here. So my camera is there. Oh, it's already popping through the window. So I might slightly go ahead and move a bit forward to avoid any intersecting meshes. So now we have a decent camera. I'm just gonna go ahead and lock the camera just so that I don't accidentally move it. To do that, I select my camera, right click on it, go to transform, and lock my camera. Now even if I try to move my camera using the gizmo, I won't able to use it, and as you can see, I don't see any gizmo because the camera is locked now. go ahead, I'm also going to change the aperture to something 5.6. I find that value to be decent enough. There you go. I also would like to go ahead and split my screen into two, because that helps me lighting much faster. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on three little lines here, and then go to layouts, and then navigate to a split view. There you go. And I like to have my right view the camera, and I would love to have the left view, oh, not that, and have my left view to perspective. There you go. Now this helps me lighting the scene much better depending upon the composition or the frame that I have here. So now we have some decent lighting, we have some indirect lighting, we also have fog, but I want to have some volumetric light coming, like volumetric fog coming out from this window as if it was like early foggy morning. To do that, it's pretty easy. I'm gonna go and select my height fog from my outliner. Let's just organize this. I'm gonna click all of the lighting options that I have here and place it inside the lighting folder. There you go. So that is much easier. Now I can locate my height fog, and just under details I'm gonna type volumetric and turn on volumetric fog. Now you won't be able to see much difference, but let me show you what it actually does. It's gonna slightly add more fog to the environment, but here's the fun part is you can increase the fog density and make it more dense. So here, if you increase the fog density, you can see the clarity being a little bit more foggy. The scene gets really foggy if I increase the density of the fog. So in our case, I'm not going to do that, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the light scattering or fog scattering for volumetric. So if I type volumetric under my volumetric fog, I'm going to increase the scale here, and look what happens to the image on the right. We're having some nice light falling inside. There you go. To see this more evidently, I'm gonna go and select my directional light and gonna type again volumetric, and under volumetric scattering I'm gonna increase this to some crazy amount. Let's just say 10 or so. I know the scene is gonna look really noisy because since I increased the volumetric scattering scale, but as you can see this light shaft falling inside. So let's just not go that crazy and go to keep it something low to around 5, or maybe even around 2. That's good enough for me. To balance this, all I'm gonna do is add another light source, which is gonna be helping us to light the indirect lighting. So I'm gonna go and click on my light tab and click on my rec light and face it downwards like to a 90 degree, and I'm gonna drag all the way up to the ceiling. And as you can see, it's also dropping a shadow, which I don't want. So I'm gonna go and type under cast shadows. I'm gonna turn it off, and it's gonna just turn off the shadows. But it doesn't look natural at this point because we also have another source of light. So what I'm gonna do is, first I'm gonna reduce the intensity to something, let's just say 2. And that just adds more softness, soft lighting to the scene. I'm gonna just make sure that it's inside there, like that. And I'm gonna increase the width of it. So to see it, to see it better, I'm gonna click on G to toggle the icons, and there you go. I'm gonna increase to something like that and place it in the center. So now we have a decent lit scene with nicely having shadows and the light shot from the window. Now all we need is one last thing, which is the post-process volume. To access that, you can go to visual effects. Where is it? There you go, and drag and drop the post-process volume in your scene. And whenever you drop it, this is a post-process volume is basically, it will help you to enhance with few more options, like as you can see, bloom, exposure, and all the other post-process enhancing tools that you can think of. To make this affect the entire scene, we need to type unbound under the details panel and check this. The reason we need to do this is because if we don't do that, it's going to affect only the things which are inside the box. So for example, if I keep my post-process volume here, and if I change any value, unless and until my camera is inside this box, it's not gonna show me the effects that we have turned on. So in order to affect this globally, we need to have it to set it to unbound, which we just did. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use the exposure meter to help me evenly distribute the exposure. By default, the lighting exposure is gonna be on game. So if you see game settings, exposure is on by default. So we're gonna force it to stop by clicking on the min and max value and setting it to 1 and 1. So this is gonna make sure that no game setting lighting is affected in the scene. And now we can manually set the exposure. So I'm going to set it to something 1.5 or so, depending upon the light that we have outside. And there you go. We have a nicely lit scene using all the tools that we already learned from the last tutorial. I will make another tutorial which shows how to basically light an exterior scene with using the same tools that we just used and achieve a realistic lighting. So thanks for watching.